This is finally breaking now. She's finally having to address it, and I think it's a legitimate story.
Let me give you a sense of the media coverage of the Bosnia story, right? I'm going to play a few clips. You're telling me that, oh, the Bosnians... Again, this is about Hillary Clinton making a mistake, and here's the sort of coverage we've seen.
It's not a mistake.
This is embarrassing for Senator Clinton because she has campaigned hard on the notion of her strength and experience.
It's like a fish story where the fish grows every time you tell the story.
Hillary Clinton under fire for embellishing her claims of experience.
In the end, doesn't this really come down to a matter of can you trust what she said?
Good evening, I'm Chris Matthews. Welcome to Hardball. As one columnist put it this morning, the door is closing on Hillary Clinton's campaign. Clear memory of a war experience in Bosnia that never happened. What they would do with Hillary Clinton claiming to have been in a battle zone or not. What will they do? The swift boater types. They'll destroy her with this, won't they? This is new stuff. Meanwhile, Mrs. Clinton continues to be pounded for embellishing a story about her landing in Bosnia back in 1996. As you can see, she was hardly, as she claimed, running head down to avoid sniper fire. Was Hillary caught in the act or simply misspeaking, as her campaign now claims, or worse? Much worse. Well, perhaps it wasn't the only time she misspoke in this regard in terms of embellishing or, in fact, fabricating an event that didn't happen.
So I made a mistake. That happens. It proves I'm human, which, you know, for some people is a revelation.
Well, we'll see about that. Let's go to Congressman Sestak. Congressman, it seems to me all of us have memories that fail occasionally. We forget things that happen. But we rarely, I think, remember something that didn't happen. In fact, coming in under enemy fire, ducking and covering because you're under sniper attack is an event one either recalls correctly or imagines. Well, how do you explain that Hillary Clinton imagined that incident?
You know, why do you need to inflate what you did?
Don't make sexist comments on the show. Thank you very much, Senator Palmieri and Todd Harris. And we get back and we're going to talk politics. Let's talk about this event that happened in Bosnia. Oh, wait a minute. It didn't happen. We'll talk about Hillary Clinton and that Hemingway adventure of hers. We'll be right back on MSNBC.
A topic so radioactive, the incongruity of Senator Clinton's tale of sniper fire in Bosnia with the videotape of a little girl reading her a poem, that she was willing to change the topic in response to the questions of a newspaper owned by a man who once insinuated she and her husband might be guilty of murder. What were Hillary Clinton's actual experiences in international diplomacy? But changing not just the topic, but the history of her role in the topic she does not want to talk about. Bosnia and other international issues. Quote, I was usually the first person Bill would talk to about anything. I was usually the first person Bill would talk to about anything. It was a factor of both proximity and relationship. Not the latest argument from Senator Clinton as to why she is better suited to handle crises than Senator Barack Obama is, because her husband, the president, spoke to her first. By which logic, Laura Bush should likewise be on the ballot in November, perhaps on a joint ticket with her mother-in-law. Our fourth story in the countdown, are you experienced? Have you ever been experienced? Already under criticism for having insinuated that bringing peace in Northern Ireland and opening borders in Macedonia to Kosovar refugees should be on her presidential resume. Senator Clinton today sought to defuse the latest appearance of hyperbole, the claim that she had come under sniper fire and was running for cover while visiting the airport in Tuzla in Bosnia in 1996, when the videotape clearly shows herself and her daughter being greeted by this child on the tarmac instead.
So I made a mistake. That happens. It proves I'm human, which, you know, for some people is a revelation.
Senator Obama, still on vacation tonight, has yet to personally respond to any of this, but his surrogate, North Carolina Congressman G.K. Butterfield, says the senator from New York owes his constituents and the country an apology and calls into question her assertion that it was all a mistake.
When you make a false statement or a false claim that's in your prepared remarks, that's not misspeaking.
Senator Clinton's campaign rebutting that charge, saying the remarks were not prepared in advance and sending a talking points email to reporters and supporters, alleging that Senator Obama has himself misspoken or exaggerated facts about himself at least 10 times recently. Joining me now, Washington Post columnist and associate editor and our own Eugene Robinson. Gene, thanks for your time tonight.
Good to be here, Keith.
Is that Clinton campaign response somewhat echoing of Mr. Rove? I mean, if you get caught doing something kind of red-handed in giant red letters, just accuse the opposition of having done it more than you did?
Sure, just point the finger immediately and say, well, they do it too. I'm not aware that Senator Obama has claimed to have come under sniper fire in Bosnia or to have solved the troubles in Northern Ireland, but you know, maybe he claimed that, you know, he ate Cheerios for a whole 2 weeks to lower his cholesterol, and really he quit after a week. I don't know what she's talking about, but you know, I guess it's supposed to deflect attention. Doesn't seem to have worked.
As far as you know. Are we seeing, though, is there a scaling back underneath this kind of, well, I'm human, ha ha ha, self-deprecating, actually charging joke at other people to follow? In this, at back of it, is there not a backing down of her claims of what she actually did, how she is actually experienced in this area, and no matter how deftly you do that, if it's done, is she not admitting this commander-in-chief gap between herself and Senator Obama is smaller than she has previously claimed that she staked this campaign on?
Series for the record. Well, I'm Hillary Clinton, and I'm running for president. I'm in, and I'm in to win.
Hillary Rodham Clinton's presidential potential has been a topic of discussion among her peers since the 60s.
For 35 years, I have been making positive differences in people's lives.
That would take us back to 1973, the year she graduated from Yale Law School and went to work for the Children's Defense Fund, interviewing juvenile offenders and dropouts. Over the next few years, she moved from one success to the next, serving as a staff lawyer on the House Judiciary Committee as it considered impeaching President Nixon during Watergate, teaching criminal law at the University of Arkansas, and heading the Legal Services Corporation, a nonprofit which represents the poor. She had been appointed to the board by President Jimmy Carter. In 1979, the year her husband became governor of Arkansas, Hillary Rodham, who had raised eyebrows when she declined to take his name, became the first female partner at the prestigious Rose Law Firm in Little Rock.
Because there were so few women, and particularly so few young women, kind of involved in traditionally male venues, I mean, clearly her mere presence probably turned some people off.
Arkansas's First Lady decided to take a shot at reforming the state's abysmal education system.
I really believe that our young students need as much personal attention as they can get.
It was a tough sell involving the largest tax increase in the state's history and testing for teachers.
Hillary went out into the state. She held public hearings, I think, in all 75 counties, and she very effectively disarmed her critics.
The people of our state...
Her grassroots victory would go down as one of Bill Clinton's most significant gubernatorial accomplishments.
So help me God.
It prompted her husband to hand her an even larger policy initiative as soon as he won the White House: health care reform.
Now is our chance to beat the historical odds and give the American people the health security they need and deserve.
Mrs. Rodham Clinton, after 2 years and countless hearings, the 1,300-page plan imploded. Defeated but not deterred, Clinton set her sights on more manageable goals, like creating the state children's health insurance program and increasing vaccination rates. And behind the scenes, she got the last word on so many issues, staffers had a nickname for her: the Supreme Court.
Nothing but the truth.
It was her idea to tap Janet Reno for Attorney General and Madeleine Albright for Secretary of State. Her stance on NAFTA has become a point of contention in job-strapped Ohio.
She said that NAFTA, on balance, had been good for New York and good for America.
Publicly, she supported it in those early days, but within White House walls...
She had grave reservations about NAFTA, was probably against it, thought it originated correctly with Republicans.
I've been to more than 82 countries.
Mrs. Clinton likes to cite her extensive travel, more than 80 trips as First Lady, as part of her foreign policy experience. She promoted microfinance in Latin America, peace in Bosnia, and famously, human rights in China.
It is no longer acceptable to discuss women's rights as separate from human rights.
Unlike Obama, she shunned the spotlight her first few years in office.
She went into the Senate not as a show horse, but as a workhorse.
Learning the Senate power structure, landing a coveted spot on the Senate Armed Services Committee, and reaching out to former Republican foes. She teamed with Bill Frist on modernizing medical records, with Tom DeLay on foster care, with Lindsey Graham, who had led the impeachment effort against her husband, on benefits for veterans, and with Newt Gingrich on health care policy.
When we were agreeing so much with each other, I think people thought the end is near.
The most fascinating thing about Clinton in the Senate was to hear the conservative Republicans who had gone back home and often advanced their own political careers by using Hillary as the great whipping person, going around saying privately and for some of them publicly, wow, what a nice person and what a terrific colleague.
Explain to me then, Roy, how it's so different from Barack Obama saying the following: we should pass legislation I put forward with my colleague Chris Dodd to create meaningful incentives for lenders to buy or refinance existing mortgages. It turns out, of course, that Dodd agreed that Obama did not author the bill.
Dan, I'll give you,
Let me finish.
Okay,
that Obama only supported the bill, but he said, but he could not offer pride of authorship to Obama. Okay, so Obama made a mistake about whether he authored a bill. Why is that not equally sort of this the media is horrified about this Bosnia thing? Why isn't that equally horrible?